Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it's time for another one of our weekly viewer specials. If you are new to the channel or new to this series, then what we do every week here on Mondays is showcase games from you all, the viewers. That way we can see some strategies, decks I might not normally have time to get to, and moreover we can kind of come together and cheer each other on as a community. It's a lot of good fun, and if you're looking to get in on it, head down to the description below. You're going to find an invite to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex, in that description. Under the Master Duel section, there is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. There you can drop your 9-digit player ID, that way I can see your publicly saved replays, and I can feature one of them here on the channel. If there's a certain one you want me to see, just leave a screenshot or your opponent's name or the date and time, something where I know that's the game you want me to watch. But let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of your duels now. Alright, first game is going to come to us from SM, aka SM Winda, over on the Discord server. Let's go take a look at the replays here. We're going to be looking at a going second Isle deck. You all know how much I love pile decks, so let's see what we're cooking up here. Looks like we are going to be on Adventurer. We have a Charmer package here as well, and looks like just a general going second, like Spellcaster, spell, pile, with 3 mind controls and multiple copies of Change of Heart. Very, very cool to see. Yeah, I've never quite seen a going second, like, just Spellcaster pile deck, so that's some cool stuff. And looks like we are going to be up against Centurion, which also has some going second tech of its own. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this duel and see what we've got. Now, the fact that we're choosing to go second is going to really not be great for our opponent if they open like Dark Core or Mind Control, but they were also on Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell, which if they open that here uniquely could be really good against our deck in particular. We've opened some of our Adventure Engine as well as Kurikara Divine Carnate, which is a pretty solid board breaker. It's like they're going to lead by going Oath for stand-up. Then the Primera is going to get placed and summoned. Primera effect will activate in order to add the Wake Up Centurion. Looks like they're playing Bonds as well, and the Emeth 4, or 6 rather. I was looking at it upside down, I thought it was 4 for a second. Okay, they're going to Synchro Summon here for the Primera Primus. Ooh, they've got a Royal one. Banishing the Bonds for its effect as well. That's going to place the Primera, and then now Primera Primus is going to add another copy of Emblema Oath. Setting 1 card, they're going to use the Wake Up in order to mill the Trap card, and they're all set up to sync for 12 on our turn with what they've placed in the field spell here. We're going to lead with the Fateful Adventure, and the face down card does end up being Emblema Oath. It's a good thing they didn't open one of those Curse Seal of the Forbidden spells. There's the Atri. We're going to add the Wandering Griffin Rider, pitching the Water Enchantress. Definitely makes sense, because we can, of course, banish Water Enchantress. It's so long since I've played an Adventure deck. I think the last time I played Adventure was with Synchron, or maybe during an event or something like that. But I have fond memories of using the engine. Alright, they're going to go for a Synchro Summon here. That was an Atri, by the way. That was Centurion Chimera. Forgot about this one. Okay, there's a Sync for 12. It's going to be for the Legatia. Now it looks like they're going to use their Legatia to pop our Wandering Griffin Rider, taking away our Negate. But we can still use Rite of Armis here to get an Adventurer token here and equip with the Dracoback. Now Dracoback is going to bounce the Primera, forcing it to be summoned to the field. Although, I wonder if it'll still get bounced, because... No, okay, it doesn't. Even though it didn't leave the field or just change positions, that still prevent it from being bounced. But because we force it to activate, we can send it away with the Kurikara Divine Carnate. Now going for the Magician's Souls effect, sending away our spell cards to draw 2 here. Finding that Thrust is interesting. Along with the Bestial Baldrake, we're going to link away the Magician's Souls in order to summon Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden. And they're going to drop into Biru! Wow, I actually did not see that coming at all. Holy, okay, so they got Nib, we have a token. We also have the Triple Tactics Thrust, though. It's going to grab an Engage. After normal summoning the Familiar Possessed Hita, we can link away for Lina, the Light Charmer. And now we can engage, because we no longer have anything in our monster zones, our main monster zones. Going for the Hornet Drones, drawing into our Spirit Charmers. Wow. Going into that Charmer support as well. Take 2 cards with different names that are Charmer, Familiar Possessed, or Possessed Star Traps. Add 1 to your hand and set the other. Interesting. We're able to cycle back the engage, and we're going to keep link climbing. Presumably to free up our main monster zones again to make use of the engage search plus draw yet again. Gonna find a Widow Anchor. And we get another Charmer card. Wow. We can revive their Imp 6, and that's already, yeah, really close to lethal on board. Ooh, looks like Phalanx is gonna let them dodge the Baldrake here. But we're definitely not done. Like, we're not out of things to do by far here. Yeah, we can go Spirit Charmers, pitching that Baldrake to add Awakening of the Possessed, and we're going to set the Possessed Partnerships trap card as well. Yeah, here's the Celine, and we can still go into the access code as well. Access code plus Nibiru should be enough to do it here. For 14 spell counters, that's insane. That is actually insane. And the mind control is very much just a cherry on top. Not needed, but definitely fun to see. And yep, there is the access code talker. This was really cool. I'm, like, kind of floored by how smoothly this all played out. Again, mostly because this is just what I love about pile decks, right? Like, you see these cards that you would never expect to go together, and yet when you see the game plan actually played out, it all just clicks. I really love that, like, moment. It's almost like solving a puzzle, or I guess in this case, watching somebody else solve it. That was really, really cool. Thank you very much for that submission, SM, but of course we still have a couple more to see. So let's go into the next one. Okay, next duel comes to us from Ekudo, who's playing another pile-ish deck for the Fusion Synchro event. We're combining Centurion with White Forest, and of course that is going to include the new Azamina, or newer Azamina cards as well. Centurion White Forest, something that I've played before, but not since the Azamina stuff has come out. And it looks like we're also rocking the Dragoon as well, able to access that through the Muddy Mud Dragon. And we've got the toy package here, which is always very, very solid when combined with White Forest. Yeah, just another, like, very low to the ground, I guess as far as, like, the deck size anyway, being 40 as opposed to, like, 60. Fusion Synchro event deck. That is very, very solid. It looks like our opponent's going to be on the, like, Psychic Banish deck, which I guess I never really thought of, but yeah, that's also a very good candidate for Fusion Synchro, isn't it? Alright, let's go ahead and check this out. We got a going second game here, another going second duel. So let's see what kind of a board our opponent's going to put up and what we're going to have to push through here. I have only run into Banish Psychic like a couple of times on ladder, so I can't think of like what their turn 1 end board looks like off the top of my head. So, alright, we have a couple of Effect Veilers here. They're going to lead with Psychic Processor. Oh, and they're just going to pass after summoning another one, as well as the level 6 here, the Prototype Psychic Blaster. I was hoping they would do a bit more of a combo line here. But let's see what we've got. We got the Diabellstar here, which is actually a really good top deck, considering all of our other cards are like White Forest stuff, and they pretty much all need a spell card, or at least these two. You need a spell card in order to be able to make plays, so good thing we got Diabellstar here. We're going to set the Deception here. Normal summoning a Stellar, we're going to send away the Deception to summon Sylvie. Sylvie F going to activate to add Tails, and then we can use LZ sending away the Tails in order to special summon. We're going to add the Rusia, and then Tails is going to set itself. We're going to then use LZ Azamina in order to summon, and then we can Synchro Summon for level 6. That is going to end up being the Rusila. Now Rusila can activate sending away that Tails in order to add, and then LZ Azamina can also grab a Sinful Spoils card here. We can get Wanted, and then Rusila is going to fetch the Woes of the White Forest. Setting Woes, we're going to use Rusia in order to special summon and sync for 8. I imagine this is going to be the Diabell? Yes, this is Diabell. Alright, Diabell's gonna activate Wheeling Back the Deception. So, yeah, doesn't matter that we didn't use Deception earlier, because Diabell is always going to let us use it later in the combo line. Gonna go for the Howled Azumina here and summon the Mu Rishilago. Howled Azumina gets to activate, putting back the LZ Azumina to come back to hand, and we already have the Wanted, so we can just go ahead and activate Hallowed as Chainlink 1, Wanted as Chainlink 2. That'll let us add a Diabell Star monster, which is going to be another copy of the Black Witch, and then we're going to summon the Ilia Sylvia here as well. Alright, we can send away the Woes to draw, top decking a Ghost Ogre here. A Stellar gets to come back from that too. And let's see where we go from here. We have a few different options for what we can make as far as like synchro monsters here. We're going to go Rusio plus a Stellar into the Muddy Mud Dragon. Now we can use Muddy Mud Dragon to sync, or to fuse rather, with the LZ. And we're going for Albion the Branded Dragon. Albion can fuse itself with the Muddy Mud Dragon, which can treat itself as Dark Magician, allowing us to summon the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Now Sylvie can come back, and then we can synchro summon yet again. We're going to go for a 12. That's going to end up being the Centurion Auxilia. And this is how we pivot into our Centurion engine. Because now we can add the stand-up, and then stand-up, of course, is going to set up the Trudea, and then we can go Trudea into the Primera, and that will allow us to get enough bodies in order to synchro summon here, as we can go for the Gargoyle. I think they were saying that we could have gone for even more if we hadn't have added Gargoyle, but we can go for the the Vysis. Oh, I haven't played this card in so long. I was just thinking about, you know, Monadium stuff recently. Good times. Gonna add the Monadium reframing there before swinging in for lethal on our opponent. One of those wards that's like not just good for setting up, you know, on turn 1, but also can just swing in for lethal as well. Yeah, so could have ended on Quasar in the Umbraterra trap if I didn't add Gargoyle, needed the Wake Up Centurion. So that was the thing that we should have added. Yeah, Ecuador is just saying that in their explanation here on the Discord server, but nonetheless, I think still a very, very solid duel. Again, showing the power of this deck, not only going first, but going second as well. Good stuff. All right, let's see. We got time for one more. Let's finish off with that one. Okay, our final game comes to us from G1. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I'm assuming like G like Jeep and then Wan, G1. Anyway, let's see here. So we are going to be looking at a game of Pure Yummy versus Mitsurugi Yummy. It's going to be another going second duel to round things out here. So yeah, looks like we are on the Pure build, which I also prefer playing the Pure build because of the ability to play more hand traps going second. Rocking the triple Ghost Spell, which is very good in this meta. I've been kind of meaning to make room for Effect Veiler too. I like having that option for crossout because of course the, what do you call it? The Dracatail players are all going to be on Effect Veiler as opposed to Imperm. But I only have room for 2 Imperm in my build, so like I kind of don't want to go down to 1 and 1, so that's something I got to figure out with my hand trap ratio, but yours is looking really, really solid here. And then our opponent is going to be on Mitsurugi Yummy. I've seen this style of list before that opts to play more cards to make room for like Thrust and then also have D-Barrier as your option to set off of Thrust, which makes sense. You know, a lot of people have used the Black Goat Laughs, but D-Barrier is really good in this meta because of course you can call Fusion against Dracatail and Synchro against Yummy, which will severely limit their options. This also has the ability to call Ritual from Mitsurugi as well, which is very, very important. So even though it's not like an extra deck summoning method. Yeah, let's take a look at this game to round things out here. Yeah, like I said, I'm also, when it comes to ranked ladder, I tend to prefer Pure Yummy. Been doing a lot of playtesting with that. Okay, so we're going second. We have Ash Blossom and Purge. Pepsi Engage Surprise going into their turn. That's pretty solid. That's not a bad hand. It's not the best against the Mirror, But given that they're on Mitsurugi, like, against the mirror, having Ash and Purge isn't always the best, because usually you're just going to end up negating the Cupsy Yummy way anyway. But if it's the Mitsurugi variant, we have more of an opportunity to make use of both of these search negates. Okay, so there's the Cupsy Yummy way. Here's our Ash Blossom. Yep, definitely makes sense. And then they have a Call By, which is pretty rough. Of course, you always have to do it in that order, right? It's not like you can Purge first, because if you Purge first, then you won't be able to use Ash Blossom later, which is a mistake I have made more than once. I am definitely more than willing to admit. We can still make use of Purge here, though. I'm going to discard a Thulos. So at this point, we don't necessarily know, yeah, if we're up against Mitsurugi or the Pure build. I would have also Purged here to keep them off of surprise. If I had known going into the game my opponent was on Mitsurugi, I might be a little more tempted to hold the Purge in case they, like, you know, reveal Habakiri and go into Saji, but I think that's more than fine here to Purge the Cupsy Yummy with what information we have. And you can even make arguments that it's right either way, but the Mignon is going to revive the Cupsy Yummy, going to sync with the Sorrow Cat to make the Herald. Sorrow Cat can revive. And now they're going to link Sorrow Cat plus Herald into IP? It is going to be IP, okay. This will of course trigger the Herald, allowing it to add the Habakiri. Although because they've already used Sorrow Cat's effect, they can't put Habakiri, or not Habakiri, they can't put Herald on their board now, which is a plus for us, for sure. Okay, here's the ritual. Like that's gonna send Habakiri in order to summon the Murakumo. We'll trigger the Habakiri. They're probably gonna add Mirror if they're doing it this way. Yep. And then Mirror, Tribute, Murakumo, summon Habakiri. Probably add Prayers if I had to guess. Well, they have to add Prayers because they're not playing Great Purification because their only trap card was D-Barrier. So yep, there's Prayers. Here's Murakumo. Gonna set and pass. So Snatchy, IP, Murakumo, Prayers face down. We're gonna lead with Engage. IP Masquerena gets to activate here. And they're gonna link with the Yummy Snatchy in order to make SV Little Knight. Interesting timing on their part. It's completely fine for us. They definitely should have used that later, I think. Gonna banish the Engage from our graveyard. I mean, I guess if you think you're up against Sky Striker, that's not like a bad move, but you could also have just used it later in that case too. Like if you think you're against Sky Striker, and you're trying to banish the Engage so it doesn't get add enough Kagari, you could just summon the, well, I guess you would have to summon the Little Knight when the token's in play. I guess at a point you do have to decide, or I guess try to figure out if you're up against, you know, Sky Striker or Yummy. If I see Engage for Hornet Drones, I'm just assuming I'm against Yummy in this meta, but here we can use Call By to banish the Murakumo in response to Prayers. That way it doesn't get to revive and board wipe us, which of course is always nice. Saji and Mirror effects don't matter here. The card they search doesn't matter either. Yeah, unless they have a hand trap, they are out of stuff to do, and we do have the Surprise and the Marshmallow, so we can extend through quite a number of hand traps here. Like, even if they went like Effect Failure in response to this Yummy Snatchy, we could still play through that. Looks like we're going to use the Surprise to bounce and then chain the Snatchy F. This, of course, lets you dodge your monsters getting bounced while still letting you bounce your opponent's cards. That's not a function of Surprise that I use often enough. It's sometimes I have in my head that, like, oh, I have to return the stuff, but it's not one of those cards that works like that. It's not like a bounce your stuff and then bounce their stuff. It bounces them all at once. So, again, if your Yummy monsters aren't on the field, your opponent's stuff will get bounced anyway. It doesn't matter. Alright, here's the Lollipo. Lollipo revives Cookie and Marshmallow. We're gonna move to battle phase, and I think this is enough, right? It is, yes, by 300 points. All right, there goes our Mitsurugi opponent, and that is going to do it for this week. So thank you very much to not only G1 and everyone else who was featured this week, but also everybody who submitted, because of course, we could not do this series without your submissions. And I love the fact that we get to do this every single week. It's a very, very cool, just again, way for us to all kind of come together and cheer each other on for our decks and games. So thanks as always for watching. That's going to do it for now. But before we end, let's move on to our outro so we can thank our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.